What is up, my planting people? My name is Lithius and welcome to Roots Ready. I have a long list of things to do today and it includes some plant care. I've got to do some watering. I have one or two plants that I need to repot and I need to go to IKEA today. So I'm going to look around and see what I can bring home today. So I thought I'd take you guys along for the ride. All right, so before it gets too late, I'm actually going to head over to IKEA and see what I can grab. Let's go. And off we went. So it took me about 14 minutes to drive over to IKEA. Unfortunately, the one that was the nearest to me, which was in Tottenham, is now shut down. So I had to come all the way to Wembley. Yes, that's the same Wembley where a lot of musicians perform. Wembley Stadium really close. And I'm super excited. Really excited to be here because I haven't been here for such a long time. Look at the smile on that face. These lanterns were actually the main reason I came to IKEA. But you know, can't do a cheeky IKEA shop without looking at the plant section. And this one was the first one that took me, and I was like, oh my days, it's plants, and I rushed to them. But unfortunately, they were all fake, as you can see here, which is a real shame. A real shame. All of them. They looked really, really great for plastic plants. However, they were disappointing. So I was still on for the hunt for the real plants. These are all fake ones. All fake. What's this? A Christmas? I forgot what it is. A monkey tail. Oh, here we go. Here we go. I've spotted something. I've spotted it. Plants. At the size of this peace lily. Whoa. So you could still be shopping at Chores. Okay, so do a left, yeah? You don't really need to tell us anymore, do you? Whoa. That's what I'm talking about. Only £55 for these ones. The peace lily. The huge ones. £15, that's not bad. That is not bad at all. Got some, what's it called? Rubber trees, the dark ones. Some lovely fiddle leaf figs. Let's head of that. This one I got mine from actually. Some smaller bed of paradise, and this one, what is this one? Philodendron anifolium. Monkey puzzle. Look at these. I don't know what this is. It's cool. £85 as well. That big chunky tree. Ooh. Dracaena. Lovely. Some money tree. And coconuts. It's not bad. Coconut trees, classic monsteras. This is where I got mine from actually. My Euphorbia argentinus. Oh, maybe I've got the name wrong on mine. So Trifobia, is it argentinus? Interesting. Lovely. Not bad, 55. And these ones are fake. These ones are fake. Fake. Okay. Almost. Some orchids up there. Beautiful orchids. Alright. Oh, at this paella thing. Yeah. And just as I thought there were no more plants left, I walked out towards the exit and found all of these in these little trolleys. Lots and lots of succulents. Look at these, so really cute watering pots. And look at these amazing begonias, like lots and lots of varieties. I really should have grabbed a couple of those, but I've got my eye on them. I might go back, might make another trip, who knows. Look at that. These orchids. Don't know what these are. It's quite cool. Oh, these are cool. It's in the jar. Don't know what it is. It's a syngonium. What is that? Oh, this is a Hoya. It's a Hoya. Don't know what type. Cool little cactus thing. I was really glad to see these actually, because I'm getting more and more into cacti and succulents, especially these sort of weird looking types. So I've put that one on the list for later. Alright, so I'm back. Let me show you guys what I got from IKEA. I must admit, I thought there would be much better options in IKEA, because usually I'm not disappointed when I go. This time, the selection was a little bit more average than expected, which is fine. It's fine. And I'm guessing that growers are going to wait until spring and summer to bring out the really quality plants. But however, I did manage to pick up one thing. It's a plant that I have seen before. I've never grown. To be fair, I'm not even sure what the care requirements are. But it's this plant right here. Doesn't look like much. But it's got two names on here. It's labeled here on this tag as the Amaryllis. And it's also labeled on the pot. And it's also labeled on the pot as a Hypistrum and cultivar. So I'm not sure what that means, but I'll show you what the flowers should look like. So can you see that if my camera, there you go. So the reason why I took this plant was because it's gonna flower, and you can see we've got two flower spikes here. And in the winter time, you usually don't tend to get a lot of plants that flower. So just for something a little bit different, a splash of color in my collection, I thought I'd get this, and it's really, really cheap. I think it was only like £3.50, so not too bad. Unfortunately, when I was driving home, when I took it out of the car, I did end up dropping it. So I've lost quite a lot of soil. So I'm gonna have to look at maybe repotting this, get some more soil over these roots. But for now, we'll just leave it here. We'll put it in a place to acclimate, just make sure that it's got no bugs or anything on it. It seems to be doing, so far so good. It seems to be holding up well. As you can see, I don't know if you've noticed, but I've got some plants behind me. And I'm going to start watering them. So I'm getting ready to water my plants, and my routine is I tend to actually fertilize my plant with every watering. On most occasions, sometimes I'll be a little bit pressed for time and I'll be really busy in the weekend, and I'll just water them with regular, just normal water, no fertilizer, anything. But whenever I have a bit of time, more often than not, I do fertilize. So I've got this huge pressure sprayer bottle over here. It's an 8-litre one, and the amount of plants that I have, considering that some of them are in semi-hydro and it needs a lot more water, I tend to have to fill this up twice to get through all of the plants in my collection, which isn't too bad actually. It's not too bad. For fertilizer, I am using this solution right here. This is Formulex. I'm not sponsored at all. The reason for using this is because I was looking for something. Firstly, I was looking for a fertilizer that I can use in both soil and semi-hydro, and this was one of the ones that came up highly recommended. What I also like about this is that it has, as well as having your normal nitrates, phosphorus and potassium, it has a lot of other goodies in there. So it's got calcium oxide, copper, iron, magnesium, zinc, and it's got lots of the stuff that people usually have to supplement your regular fertilizers for. So this is like a, as it says, a universal profile, so it should have everything that the plants need. I've got this bottle, but I've also got the big bottle over here. So I've now got this one. I just kind of top up. It works out a lot cheaper to do it that way. I also like to add in a little bit of Super Thrive as well, and it's just got even more of those nutrients that a lot of other fertilizers don't. And this is actually an additive. You can add it to other fertilizers as well. So I'm planning to use this as well today. So the instructions on this one, it is for soil gardening. So if you have your plants in a regular aeroid soil mix or whatever, it's 5 milliliters to a liter of water. For hydroponics, it's 10 milliliters to a liter of water. And I've just noticed, I haven't used this for foliar feed yet, but you can use it for foliar feed, and it's 5 mils per liter of water. Cool, so I've got my pressure sprayer, I've got my fertilizers, I've got the Super 5 over there. Let's get mixing. All right, so give it a good shake. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pour enough solution for a soil mix. So we know that we're going to have 8 liters of water in here. So if my maths is correct, that is 40 mils to 8 liters. So we got 20 mils. I'm just going to do 2 capfuls. That's 1 and that's 2. So with the Super Thrive, I think it's slightly different. It must be a lot more concentrated because it says for house plants you need about 1 mil to 3 liters. So I'm going to average that out to about 2.5 mils for 8 liters. I've got my pipette here. Look at that, almost perfect. There you go. Add that in. And yeah, I'm going to get this filled up with some water and we should be good to go. So I've got my watering can here full to the brim. Chuck it over my shoulder like so. And I've got my watering wand here, and I'm just going to go around and just lightly water a lot of my plants. Some plants actually tend to not water all the way through, and I just tend to give them a light misting because yeah, it's winter. I'm finding that I need to water my plants less frequently than I used to in summer. So I'm just, staying vigilant, just trying to understand what their care requirements are. I'm going to start over here with my Hoyas, and I'm just going to give them a light watering, just like so. On these ones, what I tend to do is kind of water with time, so I sort of give them like a 5-second watering. This is the obovata right here. I had to cut it down because it came down with some, I noticed that it had some mealy bugs on it, so I had to cut it down, and hopefully that improves the health of the plant. So that's just the base cutting. All a little bit of water. I love this this one thing actually, because it just helps me to get into the really hard to reach spaces. I don't have to always pull the plant out. I'll water my micans over here. Oh, you can't see that. My bad. Give that a good water. That should do it. Let me get through to the latifolia over here. I find the latifolia is actually quite thirsty of a plant. It dries out really quickly, but you don't want to water this plant, as with many other Hoyas. I don't know if you guys can see that. There you go. So this is the Scindapsus, again another thirsty plant. Alright, so that's all done. I've now watered all of my plants. That took me around 45 minutes, and I must say I was actually able to complete it with just one full 8-litre bottle. So that's good, because not all of my plants needed a deep watering. Now the final thing I'm going to do today is I've got a couple of plants. There's a few propagations that I have that I'm hoping to repot today. So I've got this gorgeous begonia over here that I got from the plant swap that I went to recently. It's now got some roots. I'm hoping to plant that into some soil today. This plant as well, I forgot the name. I think it's a tracking something, starts with T anyway. I'll put the name up on the screen. So that's now got some lovely roots. So I'll get that potted. I attempted to propagate some of my Crystosperma Johnsonii in just some water. Unfortunately, nothing has happened. So I'm going to put them in some pond and see if that helps. I'm going to put it in my grow tent. I think it's a bit too cold on the window ledge where I have it now for them to root. So I'm going to put them in there, and hopefully we'll have some better luck with that. And finally, I'm going to just put some soil in this pot over here, because as I said, I did drop this plant. So just going to get some roots back in there and situate it in properly. So I'll get that sorted out as well. So we can start with this one. It's not too much work. I've already got a pond in here. It's already got some water in a reservoir, and I'm just gonna sort of just put the plants in like so. And I think this one, yep, just a little bit deeper, and just cover it up. And that's literally all I'm gonna do for this plant, and just leave it here and see what happens. So the final 2 plants, I'm going to put them in soil. So I'm going to prepare some pots, get some soil. So I'm not actually using soil, it's actually cococoa. I tend to try to stay away from organic mixes because I find that fungus gnats absolutely love them. Yeah, so I'll just put some soil in first, trying to not make a mess at the same time. Wonderful, make a little hole, put the plant in like so, just cover it up. Maybe I should raise it up a little bit more just to give the roots some more space to grow into. So I'll just lift it up slightly, add in some more soil like so, and just lightly pat down the substrate around the plant, just ensuring that it has good stability. That's another one done, looking good. Some more soil, again, just want to add a little layer to the bottom of the pot. Again, another hole. I noticed that this one actually has the cutest new leaves growing right there. So look at that. So it's definitely already ahead of the game in terms of new growth. Let's do it like so. Add some more soil. Little tap of the pot just to compress the soil a little bit. And finally, the newest plant in the collection, we are gonna try, I don't know how I'm gonna do this yet, try to put the roots in like so. This is gonna be a tough one, I imagine, and just soil around the edge. And I really want to compress this one down just so it holds the plant up because at the moment it's just been falling to the side like so. Some more around the edge. I'm going to leave the bulb slightly out of the pot just because this is how it came when I bought it. All of the other plants were out of the pot like so. So just to, because I've never grown this plant, I'll take that as a guide. But what I find is a lot of these bulbous plants, they grow completely underground. Like if you look at the Stephania erectica, and all Stephanias actually in the wild, they actually grow under the ground like a potato does. You wouldn't find a potato growing over the ground like a bonsai, but I think this is done for aesthetics. But because I'm none the wiser, I don't know. I haven't done this one myself. I'll just do what I've seen, how I've seen it growing in the stores. So we'll leave it as that, and I'll just put this back in. Boom. And that's it. Lovely. And the last thing I'm going to do is just water these in, just to compress the soil so that they just sort of stay, but also I've got some nutrients in here just to give them a good boost. This one I'm not going to water too thoroughly actually, because as we saw, the roots didn't go down too far into the soil, so we'll just leave it like that. These I am going to give a good watering to, just because they did come out of water. I was rooting them in some water, and this is just completely blocking your view, so apologies. So we'll do that like so, and then this one also a good drink, again just to help those roots acclimate to the soil environment. This one has some water in there. I'll just give it a little top up because this has some nutrients. And the Crystosperma johnsonii is a plant that tends to grow in, it grows well in semi-hydro, because in the wild they tend to grow in pond, in bogs. So you want to give them lots of access to water and oxygen. So pond is a good option for this. My larger plant is growing in pond and it's been doing very well. Well, that was it for today. This is what a regular weekend looks like in the Roots Ready household. It's just a matter of getting these plants watered, and that's it. So it takes me about 2 hours in total. In the summer, there's probably a little bit more work that I have to do because I tend to sort of fertilize more regularly, and I also tend to do some preventative pest control as well. I find in the winter there's a lot less pests, so I don't do it as regular, but I usually spray my plants down with a neem oil solution mixed with some insecticidal soap. This is SB Plant Investigator and Bug Killer, which is in fact just soap. So I just put this and I mix it in. I use this as an emulsifier, so I can then spray my plants down with the neem oil, and that seems to work very well for me. And just to mix it up a little bit, I tend to use this as my main source, my main preventative, and then every now and then, maybe once, twice in a growing season, I might use some Prevento bug killer. So this is like a chemical insecticide, but I don't tend to use this often. In fact, I don't even know if this box is open. I haven't used this one actually. But that's on just very special occasions, if I come down with like a thrip outbreak, which I've never had, and I'll keep my fingers crossed that it doesn't happen. But yes, that's it. So thank you guys so much for watching. Let me know if you enjoyed this video. I can do a much longer form if you want to see the entire process. I know I've sort of just rushed through this one, I've sped through. If you would like to see a longer version of this, let me know, and I'm more than happy to go through the whole process, including the preventative methods as well. But as always, thank you guys so much for watching, and keep planting.